everybody. This is such a wild thing, teaching in my basement. So I'm going to, as always, give it a few minutes and make sure all of my tech is appropriately set up. So today we're gonna talk about social media stories, which is something that's, I wouldn't say new to me, but definitely I don't know. I'm using it a lot more. I'm engaging in social media stories a lot more. So I'm excited, and we're gonna be debuting some new technology again. So thank you for being patient with that. And as always, like if you can't hear something, let me know. If you can't see something, let me know. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do about some of that, but we want to make sure that we get you all the great information that we're going to share with you today. So I'm going to try to pull up my live video here to make sure that we are good to go. As always, ask your questions. We want to make sure that you are getting all that good information. I have a giant microphone in front of my face right now, so hopefully the audio is a little better this week than it was last week. I'm not exactly positive why the audio is a little off last week, except for the fact that I think my phone got into some lotion and maybe like blocked off some of the audio stuff there. So here's hoping that it's better than that this week. And I don't know. I'm excited to go over some social media stories. It's been really tough on everybody being at home, and it's not been super terrible, being at home. We're lucky that at Square One we can do a lot of the stuff that we normally would from home. So I'm able to do a lot of the video editing that I normally do. We're able to meet with people virtually, which is really super cool. I've actually been looking forward to a lot of the Zoom calls that I have with people. Today, though, my wife, who is 20 weeks pregnant, had our 20-week ultrasound, and because the hospitals are limiting people going in there, I had to have that ultrasound done over the phone. So the FaceTime was a little bit of a bummer this morning, but baby's looking good. We're super excited about that. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. We've got some people watching, so. Social media stories. So I am gonna talk mostly about Instagram today, but I will not neglect Facebook or Snapchat. Real quick, so these are the three big social medias when it comes to the story function. So I'm not saying that these are the three biggest ones ever, but when we're talking precisely about stories, these are the big three. Now we know that Snapchat actually was the founder of social media stories, and it got pretty big among Snapchat users. Well, Instagram saw that, right? And they were like, well, we should make use of that. So what did they try to do? Instagram tried to buy Snapchat. But Snapchat was like, oh, no, you don't. We're making money over here. We're gonna keep all of our stock and everything. So Instagram did the next best thing, which was to copy it and make it better. So we know that Facebook now owns Instagram. So the story function on both of these platforms are really, really similar. So when I talk about Instagram, you can just assume that it's going to be the same way on Facebook. But I will go over all three of these as the class goes on. What in the world are stories? So in many of the classes that we've covered so far, I've talked about, the reasons for social media and why it's important to be active and create engaging content. And I've mentioned stories, but I haven't really gone too far into it. So a real basic definition of what a story is it's a function of some social media platforms which allows users to upload videos and images and broadcast those in the form of a reel, which will last about 24 hours. So this reel, it works like a slideshow almost. So the important things to take from this is the 24-hour function. So this is not like your typical news feed where you upload a photo and then years later, you can go back and you can find that on your news feed. This goes away after 24 hours. So it allows you to be a little more personable, not have to edit so much when it comes to, like the lighting and the focus and everything. We want to make sure that this is really personal. It's really human. And we'll get into some of that a little later. But Stories are super popular right now, you guys, and once you start using them a little bit, you're gonna get addicted, because I think I'm actually addicted now. So let me see if we've got, oh my goodness, yeah, we've got some. Hi guys, hi Maria, hi Amy. All right, so we know what stories are. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, jump on your Instagram real quick and look at the very top. You're going to see some of your friends or the people that you follow. They have a circle around their profile picture. Click on it, and that's what the story is. And you'll get a better grasp of, how you can utilize it for not only your personal life, but for your business social pages as well. Now, here's the thing. Why in the world would a business need to not only post regular content on their newsfeed, but also be posting stuff on their Instagram feeds, their Facebook feeds, on these stories? It's kind of the same reasons, honestly, when it comes to, why do we have to be engaging on social media? It's for that good interaction. Sorry, I thought I spelled something wrong. But it is for that really, really good interaction with our customers. We know that the more engagements we get on a post, the better that algorithm works for us. So we want to make sure that we're asking them questions and we're getting feedback from our customers, and stories are a great way to do that. Repurposing old content. So if you have old blog posts, old photos, anything that you've used that's been popular in the past that you'd really like to bring back, to 2020, this is a great way to do that, and you're able to share stuff on your stories as well. Visibility, we want to make sure that we're out, we're seen. Our customers need to see us more frequently, and lucky for us, stories, because they've got such a short lifespan, people go through those stories a lot quicker. When we're thinking about a news feed, right, it might take us, a few minutes to post a picture to Instagram. But if people don't see that really quickly, they might not see it at all. The great thing about stories is that it goes to the very top and people click through those. Some people, not me, I promise, but some people are so OCD that they have to clear all of their stories that they follow throughout the day. I feel like that would take a lot of time, but there are people out there that just love watching that behind the scenes interaction. Transparency, we want to make sure that, as a business, we are trustworthy. We're putting stuff out there that is representative of us and our brand, and, everybody can see that we're real people. That's really important. It helps people really make that true connection. Real-time marketing. So this is something that, is way different than your typical newsfeed post. This is engagement right now. And we know that living in this time and era right now is what we're all after. So real-time marketing is great. We're able to put our products out there and have people respond back to those almost immediately, because people are always active online. We want to stay top of mind, of course. This is your typical branding overview, right? We want to stay top of mind in our customers' brains. And most importantly, out of everything, or what everything kind of boils down to, are the algorithms. So whether you're talking Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat, these algorithms determine what your customers see or what your followers see. Now, if you're very active and you're very engaging on social media, if you're utilizing your newsfeed, if you're utilizing stories, if you're using all those tools that Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat gives you, you're being rewarded by your content getting pushed up that newsfeed. Really, really, really important. So we know that even if we're not sure that stories are for us, we can give it a shot and see how that engagement helps our typical social media functions. So we've been playing around with it. I really suggest you guys play around with it a little bit. Give yourself a few hours, because you're going to get stuck in the rabbit hole like I did. And there's a lot of really cool functions of social media stories. So we're going to go ahead and get into some data real quick. You know how much I love data. I know that this is really difficult to see right now, but this comes from Statista, which, by the way, is a database you can access through the library. But this is number of daily active Instagram story users from October 2016 to January 2019. These are in millions, guys. This is 500 million people as of January 2019 which I don't know who's keeping track, but that was more than a year ago. That's half of the users on Instagram are using stories daily. So why aren't we, right? So we need to activate our stories on Instagram because this is proof. This is proof that people are watching it and people are engaging with it. Not once a week, daily. Daily, you guys. So even if it's just a few things a day, make sure that you're playing around with this if it works for your customer. All right, so how to use them. Bear with me, you guys. I'm going to switch over from this to my phone, and we're going to play around with some Instagram stories, and hopefully you guys can see it well enough. I know that it's going to be a little wackadoodle for a second, but we're going to play around today with some new technology because that's what we're all about, learning new things and skill building. And my wife is upstairs watching, and this is going to be very wife heavy, so hopefully she doesn't get too upset about the pictures that I'm going to show you guys. All right, so here's my lovely home screen. Let's see. So real quick, I want to go over Instagram itself. So I'm going to pull up my folder that has Instagram, which I aptly named Time Killers. And you see my Instagram app right there. I'm going to click on that. Here is my Instagram homepage, right? And this is what I was talking about. These people up here, that circle around their profile picture, that is letting me know that they have an active story. So whether they've posted something 23 hours ago, it's going to pop up. Whether they've posted a few minutes ago, it's going to pop up. I follow a chef and a TV personality. Her name's Carla Hall, and she's actually live right now. And it's letting me know that she's doing a live video right now. So I would be able to watch that. And then, we have our typical feed right here. We're going to get those notifications right here as well. So how you're going to add to your story, you've got two options. So I am a swiper. So if I swipe to the right, or I swipe to the right on my phone, it's going to... Here's my basement, everyone. You are going to see my active camera. So if I turn that around, this is like really freaky. Inception, you guys. So you're able to see me. This is happening right now. This is really bizarre. So real quick, down here at the very bottom, this is going to give you all your different options. So the first option you see here is a live video. Now, if I click a live video, it means that just what Carla, the TV personality, is doing, this feed is going to go live out of my Instagram account, which I'm not going to do because that would be insane. So you've got that option. If you want to do a live video, that's where you're going to do that. If I scoot this over a little bit, you can see the create button. So I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to use this a lot in the next hour. But this is where you can start typing some stuff. We can go through some of this and see. I can wish somebody a happy birthday. If I click on this dice, it's basically just shifting what this says. So happy birthday. I don't know anybody with a birthday today, and if I do, I really apologize. I can thank someone. I can say happy anniversary. I can just tag somebody and build something around that. So you've got that option. Those are called shout outs. And that is what that circle down there means. Now, if I scoot over here to a GIF, it's going to let me just search for any GIF that I want to find. And I promise I'll come back to that as well. Then here's some of my favorite stuff are these templates. So right now, the one that it's defaulted to is what am I watching? And I would be able to type in the show that I'm watching and where my followers can stream it. So Hulu or Netflix or Prime or HBO or Peacock or any of the other awesome streaming services. But you'd be able to add this stuff in there. And again, I will go through a lot of this. I'm just going over the most basic rule of thumb right off the bat. If I keep scrolling over, this is actually a throwback from 6 years ago. So it's going to look through your Instagram feed. And this is a picture that I posted 6 years ago with this lovely little pupper. I can scroll over. Oh my goodness, I just skipped so many things. I can ask somebody a question. I can have people ask me questions. Pretty much, I can continue. There's a bunch of different stuff on here. The create button is really, really neat. So I'm going to exit out of that. I'm going to go back to my story. Exit. Okay, so we're back to our normal page here real quick. So I'm on create. That was the second one we went over. So we had live, then we had create. I'm going to scroll over to normal. Here we go again. Here's old normal, Hannah. So this is going to be without a filter. It's going to be, your bare bones. You want to take a selfie, or I would be able to switch the camera over and you can see all of my holiday wreaths. That's really exciting for you probably, but we'll switch that back over. I'm actually not sure which is worse to look at, so this would be your normal setting, just like your typical camera. Now, if I keep scrolling over, I've talked about Boomerang a lot. Boomerang is built into the Instagram Stories social media page. So right here, this is how I would do that. If I click on this and I do some sort of like funky action, not going to be posting that anytime soon, but we can see that movement is going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth forever, probably, until somebody clicks through it, which I'm guessing wouldn't be too long. So you'd be able to access the Boomerang from your Facebook stories, or excuse me, your Instagram Stories account. I'm going to delete that because that was... You guys, it takes a lot of guts to put your face on camera like 4 different times. So pat on the back to me for braving social media and letting you see all of my lovely chins on display. So we went over Boomerang. I can scroll over here to layout. So layout's going to be like taking multiple pictures and sticking them in one picture. So sort of making like a grid, right? So I'd be able to take this picture, woo, and then it's going to move to the next one. So you can see that one got frozen. I'm going to take another one, like, because that's everyone's reaction when they see my face. So that one's saved, and then I can, flip something around. I can flip my camera around and be like, whoa, you guys, like, she's trying to follow some sort of... timeline here, and then I can flip it back around and be like, whew, there's my layout. Everybody would love to see this on social media. So on a personal level, this is what this looks like. On a business level, think about it a little bit. If you're a restaurant, you want to show some menu items, that would be great. If you're at an event and you want to show all the really cool stuff that's going on, perfect. If you're at a networking event and you're meeting lots of new people, throw those selfies on there. That would be excellent. But you've got a lot of options when it comes to the layout. We're going to delete that as well because not for me. Another fun thing on here is called Super Zoom. So I'm going to scroll over to that. Let's go with the fire. So there's a lot of different options here. And you can see, okay, I'm trying to do this. You can see my face. There's like a little square around my face. And if I click that middle button, it zooms in on your face and does something crazy. So there you go. There you have it. So we're going to exit out of that. There's a lot of different options on there. It doesn't have to be fire. There's like hearts and stars and horseshoes and clovers and blue moons, or not Lucky Charms. I've been at home for too long, you guys. So again, we can scroll over one more time. This is going to be really, really cool for people that really get into the videos on social media stories. And it's the hands-free option. So when I'm on normal, I have to be holding that middle button with my thumb or my finger while I'm doing that video. Now the hands-free option lets me click this once, and you can see that it is recording and I don't have to be touching that button. So if that is going to work for you, if you've got your selfie stick or you have a little tripod that you want to utilize that way, you don't have to be so close to your phone to have to, be holding it the entire time. Now, in order to stop this, I'm going to have to go back through and I'm going to have to touch that button. So once, and you can see that it is recording and I don't lovely. So we're gonna exit out of that. So those are some of the options that you've got. Bare bones. That is social media stories. So that was information overload, and you're probably like, Hannah, what in the world am I gonna do with all that information you just gave me? So real quick, I'm gonna make sure that we are caught up on some comments. Thank you, Erica, for buffering some of those for me. And thank you guys for watching and playing along with me. I hope you guys have your phones out and can play with some of the stuff as we go along. So real quick, we're going to go through, we're going to create a story that I'm going to actually put out of my Instagram account. So hoping for no double chins. So I'm going to swipe. I swipe to the right. Now, I'm on hands-free because that's what I left it on. I'm going to go back over here. I told you I was going to go on create a lot. So what I'm going to do, this little button down here, and I know this is really hard to see because you're watching through a device, on a device, through a device, on a device. So this is your tiny little button down here. This is going to take you to your library. So the pictures that you have taken on your phone, it's going to take you there. So I'm going to click on that. Here we go. Here's all of the pictures on my phone. That is my wife's baby bump. But I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to select this lovely picture of this lovely woman. And you can see that, you know, it's going to default to filling the screen. I can move this. I can pinch it with my fingers like I'm doing like so. I can move it around. I can raise it up. I can do whatever I want with this image. I can turn her completely on her side. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to shrink it a little bit and I'm going to move her off to the side. So I've uploaded my own picture to one of my stories. Now, if I were to just put this out with no context, then it might be a little confusing to some people. So I'm going to throw some text on there. Let's see. So how I would throw text on there, there's your little text icon up in the top right corner. So I'm going to click on that. And it's going to give me the cursor. So I'm going to say, that's my baby in there, exclamation point. Why not? And then you've got a like an icon on this side that if you drag that, it's going to like play around with the size of the text. I can make it smaller. I can make it larger. And then we can also see that these colors it gives me, I can change the color of the text. So I'm going to leave it as white. I think it looks good, but if you want to play around with some of the colors on here, you absolutely can. You've got a lot of options. But yeah, so we're going to leave that as white. Then I'm going to click done. Perfect. I can move this down. Again, I can make this bigger. I can make this smaller. I can tilt it. I can do a lot of stuff. So I'm going to leave it right there. Looks good to me. And we've got other options, guys. We've got all these options up here. So this button, and I know it's really hard to see, it's the top right, it's two from the left. So it's a little like a square looking with a smiley face, and those are stickers. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to bring up what you guys are really going to get lost in, because this is the coolest part of Instagram stories, is the ability to do all this really fun stuff. And I'm going to just get everybody lost in it. It's going to be super fun. But you've got a search bar up at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for, or exit out of it, an arrow. And it's going to give me lots of different options here. I can scroll down. I can see that there's a bunch of different arrows that I can use. Or here's some GIFs of those arrows that I was looking for. And I like this one. It's like looking like it's pointing at something. Now, I selected that, and it put it in the story that I'm creating. But it's really, really tiny on the screen here. So I'm going to use 2 fingers on my screen, and I'm going to make that bigger so people can see it. And I'm going to turn it with my 2 fingers so everybody knows that that's my baby in there, right? So we've got the arrow pointing at it. That is fun for everybody. Another thing that we can do when we go back to that sticker tab up at the top is it's going to give you lots of different options. So if you were a nonprofit or you were soliciting donations for something, it's got an option for that. If you want to thank somebody, if you want to tag a location, if you want to mention somebody, I'll get to a lot of this stuff. But something that I want to use right now is the music. So I can click on that music button, and it's going to let me search for any music that I want. And I want to see Baby Shark, you guys. I was not going to go for that one. I was going to go for the Justin Bieber baby song, but kind of digging the Baby Shark vibe. So it's going to pull that album cover up. I don't need it covering up my entire picture, so I'm going to shrink that down a little bit. I'm going to move it around. I hope you guys can hear that, because this is quality Instagram story going right now. All right, so that's enough. That's enough of that. So what we can do with that media or the music itself is we can, shift it to the very beginning of the song. We can cut it. We can only have 5 seconds. We can have longer. But there's a bunch of songs on there that you're going to be able to tag in your Instagram stories. So play around with that. Listen to some cool music. Drive people nuts with the Baby Shark song, and we'll all have a good time that way. So that was. I just deleted my entire thing that I made. So you guys are going to get mad, but let me just redo this real quick for the simple fact that I can show you how easy this is to build. So I'm going to throw my text on there. That's my baby in there. Done. Move that down. Find my arrow. Typing that. Scrolling down. Finding it. Moving it. Perfect. Sort of. Good enough, right? And I'm going to go find my music. I'm going to go get that Baby Shark song going, and we're going to use it. Now we've got the lyrics going on with it. So I'm going to go ahead and send that to my story, so I can either click it down here if I want to send it to my story, or if I want to send it to somebody specific. Or I can just add it to my story with that button down there. So let's send it out, guys. Let's send it to my story. Here's my story up here. If I click share, it's gone. It is out there. My friends and family are going to see that picture. So, stories are no fun if you just add one thing. So we're going to continue building on a story because when we're talking about stories, right, we want to make sure that we are actually telling something with a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? So use it to your advantage. If there's something really funny happening in your business, if there's something really interesting, if you have a new product and you want to show the features, do multiple stories. A lot of mine today are going to be just pictures because my basement's not super conducive for, showing videos. But if you have questions about any of this, again, please feel free to reach out to us. We want to make sure that you guys are getting all that great information that you are so desperate to learn because we love Instagram. Okay, so we've done that. We're back to our main page. So I'm going to create another addition to my story real quick. Now we can see that I have that ring around my story. So if I click on that, here we go. Everybody can see it now. So it is out there. We can see how long this is going to last. If I want to share this to Facebook, we'll talk about highlights a little later on. And then it's gone, right? So anybody can watch my story for 24 hours. So tomorrow, a minute from now, it will be gone. So it's kind of the fun thing, right? It's evergreen content. It's not. We're doing stuff that's really time sensitive, that's trending, that's in the moment, that's really human. So that's kind of the fun of the social media stories. I'm gonna just start with my next one, right? So I'm gonna go back to our create here. I'm gonna select another photo. And because I've already started on this like pregnancy story, we're just going to go along with it. So I'm going to scroll up here to this picture, and I'm going to make it a little smaller so you can see the entire thing. Got a softball, a pair of Chucks, and a soccer ball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over here to our stickers. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to create a poll. So if I scroll down here, I know it's hard to see. There's a button that says poll. I click on that, and I'm able to ask my audience a question. So when people are watching your story, they can see what they're looking at, but they can also engage with the post when you're asking them a question. So I'm going to ask, will Charlie be a softball player or a soccer player? Don't forget my punctuation. Yes or no doesn't make sense, right? Maybe it does. She's going to be both. But if I click on yes in this editing mode, it's going to let me say softball. And if I click on no, I can say soccer. So I can click done up in that corner, and I can, again, move this around. I can make it smaller. I can make it larger. But I'm going to put that out there. And what's cool is that when people engage with this, you're going to get feedback from them in the form of a message or when you're looking at your statistics on this particular post. So a few weeks ago before we knew the gender of Charlie, I put out do you think baby Taylor is a boy or a girl? And I was able to see that 63% of my friends thought that we were going to have a boy. And then, I don't know, it's kind of fun. And so on a business level, you can ask questions, and that's direct customer feedback, right? This is customer research, and you're not having to work too hard at it. And you're not having to do it in person either, which when we're talking customer research, we want the in-person stuff, but this comes really, really close to that really good content that we're all after. All right. Making sure we're good on questions. I can only see a few of them, so hopefully we're covered on there. Let's see, I've got my poll going. Let's add a countdown. So that's another image under stickers. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to scroll down here to countdown. If I click on that, I've already got one saved under Baby Taylor, but I can create a new one. So if I were to create a new countdown until I can go back to work, right? That would be a good one to do a countdown. Or if you had an event that you were planning, or if there was just something that you were really looking forward to, you'd be able to create a countdown. I'm going to use the one that I've already got created. It's going to default to the middle of the screen there. I'm going to make sure that I'm pinching, and I can move that down. Let's move it off to the corner there. I'm not sure that I've talked about deleting something, but if I decided that I didn't want this here, when I'm holding it on the screen, I've got a little trash can down here at the bottom. And if I want to get rid of that, I'm going to hover over that trash can and I'm going to let it go. So that's how I delete something. Of course, I kind of want that back, so I'm going to click on my stickers. I'm going to do my countdown, click on my countdown, make it smaller, move it down, and we've got the countdown ready to go. So this is another thing that I can add to my story. I'm going to do that. I'm going to send it to my story and let it go, and it's back out there again. So we're going to keep adding to the story. I'm going to show you a few more elements that you're able to use with Instagram. Then I'm going to jump over to Facebook. I'm going to create a Facebook story, and then I'm going to jump over to Snapchat, and we will show you how to do stuff on there. But because a lot of people are using stories on Instagram, we're going to stick on here just a little longer, and hopefully give you guys some ideas on how you guys can use stories for your business. All right, so next up, we are going to go back to my pictures, and according to the theme of soccer versus softball, this is a picture of my wife with her soccer ball in high school, and this is one of my softball pictures from my childhood. So I'm going to add that on there. I can add some text again, and I'm going to say, Mom's got game. I've already got a reply on whether Charlie's going to be a softball or soccer player. So you can see that people are actively engaging with this content. I can't think of anything better to happen during a live video. So I'm going to say Mom's got game. I can change the color of that text. Let's change it to blue, like a good blue. Move that around a little bit. I can also change the font. So right now it's under modern up at the top. This is how you're going to change your text. I'm going to click on that. It can go through neon. I can do typewriter, strong, which is just kind of bolded, classic, and then we're circling back to modern. So I'm just going to leave it on there. Let's see, what else did I write down here? Hashtag mention. Oh my goodness, lots of stuff. So something else we're going to do, let me exit out of that real quick. This is my wife. My wife happens to have an Instagram account. So what I can do is I can mention her or tag her in this post in my story. So that's what I'm going to do. Again, I'm going to click on my sticker up here, and you're going to see mention. Looks like this. It's going to be right there. I'm going to click on that, and it's straight up asking me, okay, cool, who do you want to mention? And I want to mention roll out. And I can move that around. I can put that down near her picture. Now she's going to be tagged in this Instagram story. Now, a cool thing about that is she's going to get a notification on her end, and she's going to see, hey, HannahPop_13 tagged you or mentioned you in their story. And she can choose to add that to her story as well. So think about your customers. Again, let's talk about restaurants. If you have customers that are eating and taking pictures and posting them on Instagram and they're mentioning your restaurant, you want to make sure that you're adding that stuff to your story too, because that's content that you don't have to create. It's content that is almost better, right? Because it's a testimonial, it's a review, it's a proof of concept that your restaurant is something that people think is Instagram worthy. So that's another thing that you're able to do. That's going to be in your direct messages. You'll get a notification if someone mentions you. And if you mention someone like I'm about to, my wife will get a notification that I have mentioned her. So let's also add, what do I have on here? Hashtag, right? So this is clearly, these pictures were not taken today. It's a throwback, right? So I'm gonna use the hashtag throwback. I'm gonna click on my stickers again, and it's gonna give me the option to utilize a hashtag, and I can just start throwing that in there. Now, this is what is really, really cool. The algorithms are always working for you. Once you start typing a hashtag, it's going to give you suggestions from the most popular hashtags that are used. Now, the most popular one is Throwback Thursday, but it's not Thursday, it's Tuesday. So I'm just going to go with the next popular one, which is Throwback. And now I have hashtagged this and can be discoverable by other people through my Instagram story. Not that I necessarily want a bunch of other people to see this horrendous picture of me as a 12-year-old, but, you know, it's all for the greater good. So I've used a hashtag, I've added text, I've added my picture, I've tagged somebody, or I've mentioned them. And now I'm just going to send that back to my story again. I'm going to share that. We're done. Let's do another one. Now, this time, I'm going to, instead of using a picture I already have, I'm going to scroll over, and I'm going to find a GIF. So we've kind of got a theme here, right? The theme was my wife is pregnant and our kid's going to play softball or soccer. Why? Because we did when we were younger. So what's the next part of that story? I can say, let's see, relief. Get some Tony Stark on here. Love it. And he's relieved, right? He's like, whoo. Well, I'm relieved that Stephanie's carrying our baby, so the baby gets her genes. So I can add some text on there, and I can say, thank goodness Charlie will get Stephanie's genes. There we go. So I can say done. I can move this around a little bit. We can play with the text color. It's white right now. I can make it yellow. I'm not sure what stands out a little better. Let's go with blue or yellow. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, yellow will work. That's fine. Okay, so we've added some text there. Relief. Yeah, so this is all part of our story, right? So we're telling a story, and this is kind of the comedy relief there at the end. And I can send that to my story. Now I've got 4 things on my story. I'm going to do one more thing to wrap it all up, and I'm going to come over here to create again. I got to scroll down a little bit on this one. Don't mind all these pregnancy photos that I took of my wife. This is a picture of me as a baby, and this is my mom. So I'm going to make this a little bigger, maybe shift it down to the bottom. And I'm going to come back up here to our stickers, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to click on questions. So this is directly looking for response from your customer. So what I'm going to say is, what's the best parenting advice you can give me? And I can change the color of that as well by clicking this button up here. Black, blue, green. I like the green. Let's go with that. And again, I can move this around. I can make it a little smaller. So I'm going to put that on there. And this is inviting people to give me some advice, give me some feedback. And this is going to be the end of my story, right? So I've done 5 things. There is no limit. You can do 1 thing on your story. You can do 20 things on your story. Just make sure that you are constantly, moving through some sort of actual story, right? You want to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Let people engage with you. Let them comment on things. Let them interact through polls and through questions and through quizzes. There's a bunch of stuff on here that's really, really cool to play with. So hopefully we get some response on this one. Let's add some text real quick and say, baby Hannah, exclamation point. We can move that down, and let's change the color of that text to green to match what we've already got going on at the top. All right, so I'm going to send that, click my send button, send it out, send it to my story, and that is done. We're already cooking, guys. We can see that I do have that notification. Somebody let me know. Softball all the way. I agree. But that's how you're going to get new engagements, by using Instagram stories. So I'm going to come back over here to my home page. Please let me know if you guys have any questions regarding a lot of that. I know that was a lot, and it's really, really hard to see on this tiny screen. Something that I'd really like to do is, if you want to go over some specifics when it comes to Instagram stories, shoot us an email, message us on here. I want to make sure that, we're answering your questions. All right, we're good to go there. I promised that I would go to Facebook, so let's do that. Let's do a Facebook story. I've clicked on my Facebook. My wife is sharing my class. Thank you, Stephanie. So this right here, this is how we're going to add to our story on Facebook. So it's going to look a little different. It's not those circles at the top. It's these squares in the middle, right? So this is my picture. This is how I'm going to add to my story. I'm going to click on that. And I've got options, right? So I can either use this button down here to take a picture in the moment. There are my awesome wreaths. I can go back. I can use any of these categories up here at the top. I can do, again, with the boomerang. I can do a selfie. I can do a poll. There's a lot of different stuff that it's going to help you get started. If you've already got pictures settled here, I'm going to select one of those. Actually, I'm going to do a video. This is my dumb dog chewing on her foot. It was really funny, so I took like a 30-second long video of it. Nobody really needs to watch this for more than like 15 seconds, but something I'm able to do, and this is really, really hard to see because it's hard to see anyway, but there are options over here on the side that are going to let you mute the video or trim it. So I'm going to do that. There's a little scissors button right here that says trim, and it's going to let me trim that video. So I'm going to go from the end, and I'm going to drag that over, and I'm going to say, a 20-second video is good for me. Now it's trimmed it, so people aren't going to see the full video. I was able to trim that a little bit. I'm going to click done up at the top. Perfect. I can add some text. Actually, I'm going to add a sticker. So I've got my sticker button up at the top. Now, this is where Facebook is a little different than Instagram. I was able to search for stickers on the other one, but on Facebook, I just kind of have to scroll through a bunch of stuff. Now, I don't have time for that, so I'm going to scroll back up to the top. I can go over here to GIFs and see if there's anything that says hungry. There's one right here, kind of funny looking. Make it bigger, drag it down. My dog's hungry because she's chewing on her toes for some reason. And let's add some music to it maybe. So I'm going to cancel out of that, go back to my stickers, and let's add some music. Here's a good one, you guys. Eat It by Weird Al. Just eat it. I don't know, guys. It is what it is. So I would be able to add that awesome music to my Facebook story and make fun of my dog. If you're not into that song, you can, again, go through and you can delete it and remove it. So that's easy to do, is just delete stuff if you don't like it. Play around with it. This is not something that you're going to be able to master, overnight. This is going to take practice. This is going to take, just being in it and researching stuff and looking at your competition and looking at your friends and seeing what they're doing with their social media stories. But sometimes stories are really, really good when you don't want to overload your customers with content, right? So if you've got, content that you need to push out, that you need people to see for longer than 24 hours, use your basic social media functions for that. Use your newsfeed, use those uploads. If you've got stuff that you think is just quick and fun and in the moment, throw it on a story. That's the kind of content that people are after. The stuff that stays for a long time and the stuff that disappears really quickly. We also all have this mentality of FOMO, the fear of missing out, which is why we engage with stories, because we want to know what people are doing. We want to know what brands are doing. Sometimes brands put like coupon codes on their story, and we want to make sure that we don't miss that, right? So we are really, really engaging with the right now content. So you guys are probably sick of looking at my dog chewing on her foot, so I am not going to share that to my story, but you would know that if I were going to do that, I would just share it to my story. It would get pushed out, and all of my Facebook friends now would be able to watch Olive chew on her foot. So I'm going to discard this, and I am going to go to Snapchat so we can show you guys how it works on here. So again, I just pulled up Snapchat. This is, look at that. That's wild. Okay, sorry, I got a little distracted. So if I were going to take a picture on Snapchat, let's not do those ugly wreaths. Let's turn it around. Let's do a selfie. This is where people get crazy with filters, you guys. I can click on my face. Let's do something funny. Is this a lemon? I'm not sure what this is. Oh, it's Candy Crush. Well, I don't like that one. Oh, this one. Cute, guys. If I want to look really cute with no teeth and bushy eyebrows. Honestly, my eyebrows don't look too different from that. So let's take this cute picture. Love it. And we have the same functions, right? So at Snapchat, the things are a little different. They are over to the side here. So I've got text. I can draw on my Snapchat story. Again, with the stickers. Let's click on that. Let's search for something cute. Here we go. Cutie pie. So this is my Bitmoji. I use it a lot. You guys can tell because I put it all over Facebook. So we can upload our Bitmojis to Snapchat, which is really cool. You can search for a lot of stuff on there. If I go back to the stickers, let's go back even further. So I can add the time, the temperature, I'm apparently moving 0.7 miles per hour at the moment. So check me out. These are some trending stickers right now. And then we can go through and we can do those mentions. We can tag our location. We can do the GIFs. And we can scroll down and just see some other trending stuff. So happy Teachers Day. It's Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you, teachers. There's some Cinco de Mayo stuff because # Taco Tuesday, you guys. So we're really excited about all this stuff, and we can go through and we can add a bunch of stuff on there. Here are Bitmojis. Our Bitmojis are this icon up here. We can use our little scissors and create our own stickers. So I can take a picture of my face and cut around it and then have that saved on there. Definitely not doing that. Gives you the option though. And then we've got our typical emojis that we can add on there as well. So that's kind of how Snapchat works. Again, this is going to get sent out to your Snapchat followers. Works almost exactly the same. Things are just in a little different spots. So those are stories, guys. Yes, am I sure I want to abandon my Snapster piece? Absolutely. So I'm going to abandon that. I'm going to switch back over to my computer real quick, and we're going to finish up on the laptop. Got all of my devices all crazy. Let's see. Thank you guys for, sticking with me, bearing with all this crazy stuff we've got going on right now. Computer decided that it just wants to be stuck like this. All right, here we go. View, full screen. Okay, so we went over how in the world to use stories. Another couple things that I'm going to go over real quick are templates. So there are ready-made templates on Instagram. It's going to be under that create icon, and you're going to scroll over until you see templates. So there's some that are going to be preloaded. The one that we saw when we were just on there was like, what are you watching and how do I stream it? There's so many templates out there, and there are people that get really, really creative with some of this stuff. So it's another form of engagement. It's another thing to just put out content on your story. But there are some really awesome apps that are going to let you create your own templates. So if you're feeling extra creative, download one of these apps. You guys know I love Canva. Canva's got some really awesome templates to start out with. You can throw your logos on there. You can ask, specific questions. You can really make it your brand. And what's cool is that by creating your own templates, you're opening up the option for your customers to use your templates and get your brand even further out there. This might be maybe a step past the beginner mode that we try to stay within in Square One, but this is certainly an option for you. Let's see. My computer is a little funky right now. So StoryArc, Canva, Adobe Spark, Unfold, and this one that you can't see down here is called Over. All of these are free apps. Some of them had paid versions, of course, but play with the free stuff. See what you like. Another way that you can look at templates is getting on Pinterest. I can't say enough about Pinterest. It's like this secret that nobody really knows about when it comes to social media. So if you're looking not only at creating content or creating templates or using other people's pre-made templates, get on Pinterest and type in Instagram story templates. And you're going to see some really, really cool stuff on there. You're going to screenshot it or you're going to save it to your photos and you're going to go through and you're going to upload it directly to your Instagram story. And then you're able to draw on it and it's really, really fun. And just quickly, some ideas to get you started. So, okay, now you know the basics of how to access some of this stuff. We want to make sure that you're consistent, right? We know that across all social medias, no matter what you're doing, consistency is key. If you start doing something, we want to make sure that we continue doing it, especially for the algorithms. If you start, utilizing stories all the time, but that you fall off and you don't do it for 3 months, Instagram remembers, Facebook remembers, and it's harder to get that following back once you kind of fall off the wagon. So most importantly, be really, really consistent. Maybe just start with doing like one story a week. That's going to help you out. Then once you get a little more comfortable with it, start doing, stuff more frequently. But quickly, some ideas to get you started. Tell your brand story and do it in a video. Just video yourself, introducing yourself, why you're passionate about your business, what you've got going on. Really open up and tell your customer about who you are. That goes right back to transparency and trust and building that human connection with your customer. So that'd be a great way to start out with an Instagram story. If you've got a team, do some intros, especially if you're in retail or a restaurant. People have faces, right? The library, this would be a really cool thing for the library to do. We've got, 31 branches, 32 branches now. We just built a new one. But with these team intros, when you go into the library, you see the person working at the desk, that might be your librarian. And so it would be fun to know more about them, right? So introduce your team, introduce, maybe your furry team members, your dogs, your cats running around. That's always fun too. Behind the scenes content always works. If you do something and you can show me how you do it, that's content that people are always after. One of my favorite brands in Kansas City, Decaf Tees, shout out to Cal and Melanda. They, do some really cool stuff showing how these t-shirts are printed. We all love the end result when we see a t-shirt with an awesome logo on it. But seeing the printing process is helps gain a new respect for what you're purchasing. So it's a little more of that education aspect to the behind the scenes stuff. We can do some product highlights. If you have new product, if you've got a new service, you want to let people know how to engage with that product or service. That's always good content to put out there. Just some stories in general, but asking people questions, doing those polls, doing those questionnaires, doing quizzes even are kind of fun. Educational content, let people know, just give them some tidbits of information, do some frequently asked questions. Some people do like ask me anything, so you can invite your audience to ask you whatever they want to ask you, and then you can respond to them in video form back. So there's a lot of content that we can push out. If you're nervous about where to get started, try some of these things. If this seems overwhelming, then you know the next step is to reach out to Square One. We want to help you. We want to walk you through some of this stuff because we want to see your social media succeed. And even though quarantine is, fingers crossed, hopefully almost over, this is something that we need to be pushing out even further. And so these next few days, when you might have a little more time on your hands, play around with some of this stuff, get used to it, get comfortable feeling uncomfortable, take a step outside of your comfort zone and try something new. That being said, my formatting's all messed up today, you guys. Let me see if I can fix this, because this is going to drive me nuts. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to open this back up so you guys can have that contact information down there at the bottom. But reach out to us, please, if you have questions. If you want to take some online classes regarding, it's just going to look like that. But if you want more information about Instagram, if you want more information about stories in general, we've got lynda.com. Feel free to utilize that. There's a lot of really awesome videos on there. That's at mymcpl.org/square1. You're going to be able to access those videos there. And if you want to reach out to us for a one-on-one, or if you just want to chat about what your social media looks like, we would love to have that conversation with you. Reach out to us at square1@mymcpl.org. And I'm, would be in trouble if I didn't also ask you guys, please fill out that survey. The link is in the description of this class. I'm really excited to read some of the feedback. Without the feedback that we've gotten from the previous classes, we wouldn't be able to put stuff like this out. I had no idea that people wanted to know more about stories until we had people ask. So the survey is really important for me. It's really important for my boss, and it's really important for the Kauffman Foundation, who is kind enough to bless us with a grant, which is allowing us to put on educational programming like this. Hopefully we get back to doing it in person really soon, but until then, we're gonna keep plugging along at home and providing you guys with the educational opportunities that you guys are looking for. So I'm Hannah. I'm with Square One from Mid-Continent Public Library. Thank you guys for joining me. Please fill out that survey. I'm going to be back in 2 weeks, so I'm going to take a week off from some of our classes, but I'm going to be back in 2 weeks, and I'm going to be talking about video editing. So we talked about why videos are important on social media. We're going to take a step above that, and we're going to talk about how to edit videos. So I'm going to edit a video live for you on Facebook, and that's probably going to be, crazy in itself, but it's what you guys have asked for, so I'm going to put that class together for you. But that being said, I am so good at going for an hour, you guys. I'm very full of myself today, all the confidence in the world. So thank you guys for joining me. Please fill out that survey. I'll check you later in 2 weeks, and we'll do it again. We'll have some more fun. See ya.